We we are live. Welcome to the Lynn and Sheryl show. That was a quick little pause there.
I think I see it before you do.
Yeah, I don't know. Welcome to our show. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Lynn Serrano.
And I'm Sheryl Isenhour.
Yeah, I don't have that clip. Her as blame it on Lynn. Blame it on
Blame
Lynn.
everything on Lynn. I mean, she's as good a target as anybody I know.
Oh, and there's our faithful friend, Bob Ward.
Hey,
Thanks
Bob,
for
how are
being
you?
here. We're happy you're here. So this title, you threw it out at me yesterday. When it's time for what? A beer or what? Or wine for
Yesterday,
you?
yesterday it was okay. That was kind of why it came up. I mean, yesterday began with me. I'm kind of laid back. Remember last week we were talking about smell the flowers and blow out the candles. Okay.
Yes.
Well, yesterday by 12 o'clock, I was ready to bite the top off of the flowers and take hairspray and spray it onto the candles and see if
Oh,
I could start a
smack.
bonfire. And I was directing, and I would direct it right at a printer that all of a sudden decided yesterday, I'm done. I'm not giving you notice. I'm just done. And it decided right when I needed something. So,
Oh,
you
oh.
try to fix it. I'm a good 30 minutes. Okay. I'm a 30 minutes fixer. After 30 minutes, it ain't gonna get done. And so then I had to go. I called and I had Staples pull one. They said they'd have it in an hour. So I was sitting here, and an hour and 2 minutes later, I get this thing back. We don't have that anymore. So
Uh-oh.
now I'm an hour and a half later than I was before I was smelling the flowers. Okay. And finally ended up I sent Christine up to pick me up one, and it's working now. But Miss Sheryl can even go a little kill the flowers. I didn't care. So I had my moment yesterday, and that was what I thought when it's time. But when is it time to get upset? When's it time to get over it? When's it time? That's a question you can ask to anything you do. When's it time to wash the dishes? When's it time to come on with Lynn? And we all have to work on that time because that time's committed at that point.
You know, it's funny you say that because was it yesterday? I think it was Monday. I My car is waiting to be repaired, so I'm using my son-in-law's car and I have to take my granddaughter to school. And he leaves me his jalopy. My granddaughter doesn't like me calling it a jalopy. She goes, Mimi, it's not a jalopy. And oh, Kayla, thanks for being here. But I was like, okay, it's a 1994 Silverado 1500. Okay.
Jalopy.
And jalopy, right? Yeah, you see, you agree. Well, um, I kind of showed my age or had a senior moment or something because I couldn't remember. I'm like, oh shit, two keys. Which one goes to unlock the damn thing? And I'm like, I think I know, but they're both going in and they're turning, but they're not turning enough to open the door. And it was cold out, so I'm like, okay, it's frozen. And I try the other side. It's frozen. My granddaughter goes, I'm not going to school today. So, oh, don't you worry about this. And so then I Googled a bit, make sure that yeah, it's the round key. So in case anybody didn't remember, it's a round key to turn. Well, then what happened was I was like, okay, the round key's working, but then I was like, it's really frozen. That didn't have the round key. It's really frozen. So then I Googled again and it said use warm water to unthaw. And there's our friend Debbie. And so it was so funny. And my sister-in-law, Julie. And so I go ahead and I felt like a little kid back in the day. This is terrible, but back in the day, if you were going to get spanked by your parents, they'd say, go pick out a switch and then bring it back. Well, I felt like a bad grandma because I said, Ray Lee, go get me a cup of warm water. And I'm like, because this is what's going to do it. I'm like, and she's like, how warm do you want? Just get me some water. So she gets me some warm water. The driver's side didn't work. I'm like, oh man, this kid's going to have her way. I go to the passenger side, open it up, and I'm like, okay, it's time for school. But she just, so when is it time to quit? I was going to make sure I did everything I could because she's missed a two extra days. And I'm like, but you're right. When do you like freak out? When should you stop doing what you're doing? Or when you get nervous or you freak out, you can't think of anything to do anyhow. So you might as well don't freak out, don't go that way, and try to do the different things. I mean, I knew I didn't have no key defroster thing to get that jalopy open. So I did the next best thing. I put some warm water in there and it worked. And so again, though, but I was not looking at an option of her staying home. She had to get to school. So as far as when is it time, you're right. When is it time to stop anything? But you gotta relax in a lot of situations and then start using your mind. And you know, I don't know.
Well, I was about past that point yesterday. I mean, if I didn't have this person texted, when are you going to send this? When are you going to send this? And I couldn't exactly respond with the answer I wanted to because it had a lot of words in it she probably didn't want to hear. But anyway, it was just me getting upset with a person I rarely do. Me getting upset with an inanimate object. Oh yeah, whole different program. It doesn't reason with you. It doesn't do anything, and literally, it wasn't doing anything yesterday. So you blame the power. I blamed everything except the fact it was broke. It was done. It was through, and so it's in the garbage. So that's a
Yeah.
good thing. That's why I'm. At least they make inanimate objects mm, relatively cost effective now, where you can throw them away. And but it was one of those days. The bad part is it got me, and that's part of why it got me upset enough because it wouldn't do. I'm a high D. Let's go there. It wouldn't do what Cheryl wanted it to do. Cheryl
Yeah.
wanted it to print. That's all she
Yeah.
wanted. And it wouldn't do that. So
Yeah.
I got a little disgusted with it and called it a few names and considered knocking it off the shelf. But I didn't want to dent my floor, or it probably would have went. Well,
Well,
it was time to quit. It was way past. I quit longer later than I ought to have. I should have stopped right when I got the idea. It's not repairable and it's not that expensive.
yeah. Well, I think that's the point. The point is to know when you've done and exhausted all you could do, and you have to move on to, realizing, well, I just got to call and get a new printer, and whether you wanted to or not. Same thing goes. Another car story. I went in my car while my car was working, and I brushed it off, got in my car, and I realized, the back window needs more. So I purposely said, oh, I got to make sure all my doors are unlocked. Made sure all my doors are unlocked. I go scrub it, the snow. I get back to my car. The driver's door won't open. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? So I opened the back door and it opened. But I've got a Malibu. I'm not a little girl that can fit in between seats to get up there. And I'm like, okay, so what are you going to do now, Lynn? Well, I have a cane in my car that's there just in case for whatever. So I grabbed the cane and I literally fits the hook to open the door. And I was able to go behind the seat of my car and press on it and pull the door and it opened. But I was like pretty impressed with myself that I thought of that. Cause if not, I would have had to say, sorry, work, I can't come in because I froze my car, my car's on or something. But again, it's just I get impressed when I realize that if I'm just calm about a situation, I can think clearly and it all takes care. But when you do get frazzled, that 20 minutes, you just can't do nothing right. Everything will seem to go wrong.
Yeah.
Everything.
Seems like it messes up the rest of the day too. It's kind of like it sets a precedence. I mean, this was early in the morning. Things like that happen in the evening, I'm done with. But early of a morning, it just kind of set the precedence for the rest of the day because you were 2 hours behind before you started.
Yeah.
But yeah, we all tend to do it. The thing is I'm really glad you're the one living up there where it's really that cold instead of me. Because this old white woman don't do sub-zero. I'm going to tell you that right now. I mean,
Oh,
it's like 60 here right now, and that's cold. So, for me.
yeah. No, I think seriously we need to see that sometimes I feel it's a blessing like if the car's not starting or something's going on and or you need to go back in your house to get something. I just feel like they're blessings in disguise because I feel like when I've left a little later than I've expected, I've seen either, you know, road closures, accidents or, you know, different things going on. I've just taken it like, okay, I just go with the flow of what's happening because I realize there's not going to change anything. Powers that be are going to be. And so to get all upset on top of it, it's not worth it. Not worth it at all.
Yeah, car freezing up wouldn't get me that bad,
Yeah.
because that's an act of nature. It's the
Hmm.
way it is. On the other hand, the printer is the act of whatever. So, for sure, it's an act of. But yeah, we all have our limitations. I got to mine yesterday. Like I say, I was going to bite the top off of the flowers, but actually, the deep breathing did work. In case anybody's interested, it worked. I can't blame Lynn because it did work. But
Oh, I need to make a clip out of that one.
I still blame you if it hadn't. So we're good.
Well,
It's going
I
to turn
definitely,
into a long-lived statement, isn't it?
yeah, for sure. But again, it is nice to ask yourself that question. When is the time? When is the time to call, to call the game? When is the time to get help? I'm really, I don't do well asking people for help. And so I find it like, there comes a time when you realize you can't do it by yourself either. So, I
Yeah.
mean, suck up the pride, be a little vulnerable and say, I need a little help. But it really is, if you can do it with calmness and not like, not anything's fault. I mean, gee, you could have had your, I call that car jalopy. Your printer might have been a jalopy in printer's term. You probably beat the hell out of that thing so much that it finally says, Cheryl, I ain't doing shit for you today. I mean,
Oh,
who
I
knows?
use a printer a lot. So,
Right, right. So I
yeah.
mean, but people don't take that in consideration. It's like, you don't stop and think, well, gee, it's been 3 years ago I bought this, or we don't realize we're so much like the keys. I didn't know which key to use. It's like there's such an advancement in things, and we take things for granted. The internet used to be really slow. Welcome to AOL, and yes, I have an AOL account, but it's those kinds of things where we get gratification so fast that we're disappointed when we don't have it, including a printer. Hi, Ricky.
And I find out the faster it gets, the faster I want it to be.
Right.
I mean, I'm even impatient on it doing. I mean, I run a speed test sometimes just to see what it's doing, and it's kicking out there, and I'm thinking, give me a little more. I need more. So we're never. I don't think anybody's ever totally satisfied with the speed of it. But oh, if you want to remember, I do remember when you did the defrag and watched the little dots go
Oh my
across.
gosh, so do I. Oh, she's across the pond. My friend I went to school with, Sharon. And she also served our country here in the United States, but she's home in Taiwan. So
Very
thanks
good.
for watching. But
But yeah,
yes,
I
that
mean, that okay.
uh,
It's my time to shut up. You go.
no, the whole defragging and the whole realizing the perspective of how fast we move now, we definitely should pause when things take a pause or take a crap and realize, oh, shoot, that was break time instead of being negative about it or, let it ruin your day.
Oh, I
I,
wasn't that negative. I was
no.
just frustrated. I didn't take it out on anything except the machine. So, I
Yeah, you're like, I just want to throw this in pieces.
don't normally get it. Doesn't usually bother me. I mean, Jerry will bring his computer up here a lot of times, and it just his is easier to fix because it's not mine. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Um, you just punch a few buttons, and if it doesn't work, you tell them it doesn't work. But I, the printer, I guess it's because it's clean. it was, you know what I mean? I remember used to, you had them in the offices and it was always dusty and the printers got dirty. And, you know, you just assume a clean printer's not that old, but I do remember buying it and it is and was. So, but, yeah, I'm recouped. I'm back on smelling the flowers again. So, yeah.
But it is a good question, and I think we should ask ourselves that, when is it time to just look at things a different way? Because if you keep looking at it the same way, you're like, come on, it's got to work. It worked yesterday, it worked the day before. Well, maybe because it worked yesterday and the day before, it's tired today and it's done.
Well, and that happens to you too. You worked better yesterday than you may work today. It's
Ex-
cold up there. You're not
ex-
working at that speed.
No, yeah, it really does affect your bones. I used to think older people, now that I'll be 57 on Sunday, I'd be like older people, whatever. But that weather, that gets to your cold bones. I mean, it affects you.
Well, add 15 years to the top of that, chicken.
Yeah, I know. I'll be grateful if I get that far. So, anyhow, well, I think we need to wrap it up. And so, any final words, Cheryl?
None that I can think of. Just smell the flowers, blow out the candles, and blame Lynn when it don't work.
There we go with the blame thing. And here, oh, please, the cold, the better. Okay. Okay, Mr.
Robert, you're
Eskimo.
weird.
Yeah, that's for another show. Any rate, I think this was a great topic. Remember, when is it time to just look at things a little bit different and realize the facts are the facts, and gloating on anything negative is not worth it. It just makes the problem worse, not better. And it shouldn't affect your mood, and it shouldn't be that emotional. So with that said, I think we're out of here. Cheryl's got business to do. So you guys, Sheryl, I love you.
Love you too, kid.
Okay. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
You're like a circle that floats around